Alright, is it going to start? Today I'm going to be doing a DIY short ram intake using a 90-degree elbow, some 3/8 rubber tubing. For me it's about 2 feet. Depending on your application it might be more. I'm going to be using these plastic barbs. I actually 3D printed these, but I mean I'm pretty sure you can find some at the hardware store. They're just 3/8 outer diameter. This one has like a flange on it, and this one is just a union. I'm also going to be using some hose clamps. I have these from my previous install because I already have the K&N cone filter, but if you don't, make sure you grab some. Also, the K&N cone filter is 2 3/4. Definitely do your measurements just to make sure, but for my application, MB1 Miata stock intake, the size for it for the throttle body is a 2.5. And the size going from that on the opposite end for the MAF is a 2 3/4. Still, do your measurements just in case. You might be asking, why am I using this and not just putting one of those tiny little filters on my valve cover? Well, the reason for that is that you really don't want to let unmetered air into your valve cover. At least that's what I hear. Come to find out, it does serve a purpose. It's supposed to make sure that there's no unmetered air coming through and going into your engine. Unmetered meaning it doesn't pass through the MAF. That doesn't really matter if you have an aftermarket ECU, but for stock ECU applications, you want to try to, at least keep it seeing what it should be seeing. I do see a lot of people run those and they say that their engine runs just fine. It probably does, but for me, I'm gonna run this little addition. It's really up to you, but personally, that's what I want to do. Anyway, leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think about this mod. Are you a fan of the short ram intake? Do you think that it's a waste of time and money? Really, this stuff's pretty cheap. I think it makes the engine bay look a lot better, but if you don't like it, let me know down below. I'm open to opinions. Anyway, let's get on to it. Alright, first I'm going to start off with cleaning the engine bay, because since this is really done as a dress-up part, I feel like the engine bay should be cleaner. Let's get started with that first. Alright, so I did a quick cover of the, I have like modified headlights, so I covered that whole area. Same thing on this side. I used some rubber gloves to cover these connectors that I removed. I know I said I was going to clean the engine bay before starting the install, but I did want to at least remove the intake tube because that gives a lot more access to get in there and clean up a lot of this, a lot of the gunk. Cover the alternator. Want to stay away from that area. Just watch out for any electrical connectors. Don't like shoot directly into the connectors, but even then they're weather sealed. Go lightly, or at least that's what I hear, so I'm gonna give it a try. So hoping for the best here. Alright, so as you can see, I replaced the old intake. What I'm going to do right now is just start the car to help kind of dry out some of this engine bay. I'm also blowing it out, but yeah, I want to get this as dry as possible so I can start the install. Alright, is it going to start? Let's see. There's some water sitting there. You probably can't hear me very well, but yeah, there's a little bit of water everywhere. I'm running the compressor and blowing out as much as I can, but I mean, it looks better. I also deleted my washer bottle. I think I've used it one time since I had the car. I know that you should have one, but I am gonna choose not to run one, or later on I might relocate it if I get a smaller one. I had this disconnected before, and I think I just barely pushed it on, so it should pop right off. Yeah. Let's get that off. Get this unplugged. And the air temp sensor. Alright, let's get this out of here. This should. There we go. Slides on just like that. Alright, what I got here is I took my cone filter off, took the MAF off. Took the hose clamps off, All right, so what I'm gonna do is I want you to put a clamp on here, put this in here, and then clamp this together. Yeah, there's an arrow just in case. I did make sure to put it the correct way, but if you're wondering about airflow, it flows. It has the arrow there. Now we are going to go test fit this onto the pipe itself. So this is going to be a tight fit, and I know it's going to be a tight fit because this filter is massive. That's why I want to actually move this eventually, or I can get a smaller cone filter. Either way, but this is supposed to go kind of like that. Realistically, this needs to come down under here, but there is some stuff in the way, so I just need to do a little test fitting and trimming, and unfortunately what would work best is that, but that's not going to work. So I really need a smaller cone filter. So really that's the best I can do apparently. I mean, I could probably trim that. What I'm going to do, and I don't recommend this, I actually recommend getting a shorter cone filter, but since that's the one I have right now, I'm going to trim this tab off. To me, it doesn't really serve a purpose. Probably does, but it's fine for me anyway. Alright. So yeah, that's definitely just needs to be trimmed. I'm gonna say it needs to be trimmed about right there. Right there. I think this is what I did last time. I used a hose clamp. So kind of like that. Trimmed up. Alright, let's go see how it goes. Got on there. Alright. Let's slide this on here. Can I get it wedged down there? Yeah, that part I don't fully recommend, but this is happening today, so gotta do what I gotta do. All right. Now, if you have this overflow, it is going right into your intake. That is not good. So what I'm going to do in the future is move this sooner than later. I think that's going to be the next video actually. So and that'll give a little bit more space, but that actually does fit. It's got enough on there to clamp too. I was almost worried that I cut too much off, but no, I didn't. Next issue, does the hood close? The hood does close, but it is a little pushed up on this side. Yeah, that's it fitted. I didn't do this time. It was already like that from previous fittings, but it didn't help that I kind of did squeeze it in there. It sits with enough to grab there. That's already clamped down. This, it's on there. It's on there good. Same there. So now what I'm going to do is probably make sure I can get the electrical to go here, which is going to be these wires. So I'll cut this loom back. Same with this one. And run it back this way. And then get this plug to plug in there. And then the intake air temp, Let me see. Yeah, I have the intake air temp right here, and I'll have the other barb on this side. All right, I undid this wire loom and ran the wires over to this side. I got them within range of being plugged in. The air temperature sensor wire, which will go right here. MAF sensor plugged in already. Well, it's kind of in there. So yeah, that's where they're gonna go, tucked underneath, kind of, keep it clean. This I ended up breaking this clip, which kind of sucks. I'll have to find one or make one, or I don't know. But so what I'm gonna do with this now is I'm gonna connect that union, and then I'm gonna add a piece of pipe, and it's gonna go to a barb that's gonna go about right here. So that'll connect right like that. Yeah, what I'm gonna do here is just kind of, it's gonna go about right there. So I want it to be about right there. So I'm just gonna come on. Actually, that's good enough. And then for the barb can go anywhere, but I'm gonna put it right here. So hopefully that marked. Get it off and go check. That one did. That one did too. The last time I did this, all I did was puncture a hole in the silicone tube for the air temperature sensor. So all I'm gonna do here is exactly the same thing. So also, let's see, this is gonna be slightly smaller than the barb. Yeah, so I should be fine using this for both. This is a 5/16. So it's slightly smaller than 3/8. So all I'm gonna do is drill this out. So yeah, all right. Get this cleaned up a little bit. So let's test with this. This one should go on this side. So it's fairly tight in there. If you look inside, it's doesn't really move. It's tight in there. The hole was smaller than it, so it should have kind of sunk together. So that's what it looks like. Maybe you can see that, but yeah, I have the temperature sensor in there, and I have the barb sticking out. So now, let's see, can you see that a little bit in there? Kinda, yeah. So that's flat up against the side. Looks to be pretty good. Let's go get that put on. Got the clamps on, tightened up a little bit, maybe a little too much. Let's get this on there. This side on. Okay. Oh, that's a little thicker, that's why. All right, so now I can actually plug that in. This one can get plugged in. Okay. All right. all I did was cut it and blow it out. And what I'm going to do here is slide one end of this union in here. I'm just going to push this on like that. I could take this off and then do it from the back side. Yeah, let's do that. If you want to see, it's currently barely on there, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my hand in there from the back side, hold it and push it in, and it should be pretty tight. This off. Alright, put my hand on the back side and just push it on. So put that goes back on there. That should be it. Let's start it up and see how it sounds. That concludes doing a DIY short ram intake mod. Yeah, I really want to remove that coolant tank. I found one that's cylindrical that can easily mount somewhere hidden. Yeah, I might buy that. It's only like 25 bucks. That's not bad. It definitely cleans up the engine bay. Makes the passenger side a little busy now, but again, with that coolant tank being moved, I don't think that's going to be a problem for very much longer. But yeah, for now, that's this video. If you haven't already, subscribe if you like this content. I got more coming up. Yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.